Nope, this is the third film from director Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele, was mostly known as a comedian. He had a TV show called Key and Peele, where he and Keegan Michael Keel did Peele did a whole bunch of no Keegan Michael Key. He's Jordan Peele. Did a whole bunch of sketches, and if you can find, I mean, it's actually on Amazon Prime at the moment. Amazon Prime, it's a good sketch show. It's one of those really, really good sketch shows. I think it's hard to find a good one. But, so he did Get Out, he did Us, and now he's done Nope. And this is the third one. He's become a big name in horror, especially horror with an undercurrent, where it's a horror film on the surface of it, but it has, like, you know, some sort of contextual, societal, what's the word I'm looking for? Commentary going on underneath it. And in this film, Nope, what we have is that we start off with a family, and they run something called Haywood Hollywood Horses. So they run a ranch and they train horses to appear in films and all that. And you get to see this family, and at the beginning, you have the father, and he's talking to his son, and he's talking about, we've got to make a really good presentation, because if we get this contract, it's going to sort out our whole thing. It's going to sort out our family, and it's going to sort out everything that we do. So they're trying to survive because their business is in trouble. Then something happens. There is some weird event where things start raining from the sky. There is a little bit of a tragedy, which I'm going to try and not spoil, because this is kind of film where you can spoil a lot by saying a little. and so there's some kind of tragedy, and you find out later on where they're still trying to get this business going, and it's like the son, there's two children, the son and the daughter, and they've sort of taken over the business, and they're trying to get this thing going, and there's problems, and they can't really get it going. They don't have enough money, and they might have to get rid of some horses. And while all this is going on, something weird starts happening at their farm, starts happening at their ranch, and while they're figuring out what's weird about this is something that's scary? Is this something that they should run away from their homes from? Or is this something that we should... They realize that there's something dangerous going on. And the rest of the film becomes a case of one of them wants to leg it and just wants to go away and just wants to abandon everything. And the other one goes, hang on, something's dangerous going on, but this might be our fortune. This could be the making of us. And so they start trying to figure out ways in which to... Pretty much, it's kind of like, in my head, it's kind of like they want to sort of capture this thing and sell it to a tabloid. It's kind of, that becomes their thing. That becomes their goal. Their goal becomes, this is how we're going to help things. This is how we're going to save the ranch. We're going to, whatever this thing that's happening that we think might be dangerous, we're not sure exactly what it is yet, but we're going to capture it on camera. We're going to capture it on camera, and then we're going to sell that, and then that's how we're going to make a whole bunch of money.
We need the shot.
Yes, and it's all about getting this shot. It's all about getting this shot.
Yes.
It's all about getting this shot, and once you get that shot that is like irrefutable evidence that what we're saying, what we think is happening is actually happening, then we can sell it to your TMZs, and we can sell it to your Hollywoods, and we can sell it to, and that's going to be our fortune. And that is basically the premise of the film. It's about them trying to find this thing out and find out if there is something there, if it is dangerous, and if they can catch it on camera. And that is the plot of the film, and I hope that that's not spoilerific as to anything. So, I'm going to stop there. Shaun, what did you think?
Okay, well, the bit that intrigued me was the bit that really, really intrigued me, and I probably would have liked to have known a little bit more about, was the TV scene, the flashback scenes. You know.
Yeah.
So I found that bit quite interesting. I couldn't really relate to the characters in a strange sort of way. I couldn't really, they didn't, normally they're really good, but they didn't, I wasn't convinced. I wasn't totally convinced, but yeah, I'm sure there's a lot, it feels like there's a lot in there, to do with, and loads and loads of references to many, many, many things, which I'm probably still trying to figure out. The last time I was trying to work this out, I think was, Mother, but yeah, so it's similar along those lines, but it didn't really grab me, and I would have liked to have known a bit more about the flashback scenes, about the TV show.
Because there is, as we said, Jordan Peele. He usually has other things on his mind whenever he makes a film. It's not just straight up horror film. There's some societal commentary that's on his mind, and he has a whole bunch. And there's a whole bunch of things that people have talked about. This saying, "Oh, it's about our addiction to spectacle. It's actually like a treatise on Hollywood." I've got to be honest. I did not get any of that. A lot of the reviews that I've read, I'm like, "What? How did you What do you mean about? What do you mean talking about Hollywood? They're like, oh, this is a blockbuster that asks us why do we keep looking for things, big things in blockbusters. I didn't get any of that. No. I thought for me it was more of a treatise on reality TV.
Reality TV, maybe sensationalism about
for instance,
some of the things that some of the things that we're in, that will grab people as things sometimes that are not really we say the nicest things, but grabs the attention and gets loads of media coverage because of the nature of what it is. So, and I'm
like
sure there was a lot of reference to that. Yeah, like Love Island. Yeah,
like Love Island. Like for instance, Love Island. I was listening to, if you find it on, there's a series called, like a podcast series called Unreal on BBC, on the BBC Sounds app, and gives you like a critical history of reality TV. And they talk about reality TV and they say, is it like, the lowest form of entertainment, or is it the thing that tells us the most about ourselves as human beings? And I can see that argument, but I am more along the lines of Love Island is going to, it shows that society is destroyed. I know I'm definitely more on that. And I feel like there's more in this film that made me start thinking about reality TV and about what people will do to get on TV, and about the society that says if you do this and you get on TV, you've got this. And there's a bit where it becomes this. There's a scene where there's somebody on a motorcycle in this film that very much sort of like directly talks about that. Talks about the kind of like gossip magazine culture that we have.
Yeah.
There's a scene in that. But I'll tell you that, Shaun, what you were talking about, saying about how there's all sorts of stuff in this film. It reminded me a bit in a film that we disagreed on, a film that you loved and that I think is massively overrated, Mad Max Fury Road. In that, when I was watching Mad Max Fury Road, because when you mentioned Mother as well, I had a similar thing where I was like, I'm going to be thinking about this film for the next couple of days, aren't I? I'm going to be thinking about this for the next couple of days, trying to figure out exactly what was going on. But with Mad Max Fury Road, I remember watching that and I remember thinking, there's a whole world in here. That somebody who's made this film has figured out everything in this whole world and has a whole bunch of things, but is not telling you what is going on in this world. And I figure that I think Jordon Peele does something very similar with this film, where he has a whole bunch of things that he's put in there because there's this world, there's just this stuff happening, and it's kind of left up to you to try and figure out what he's getting at. There's a bit. The film starts off, as you said, with a scene on a sitcom that was in like the 90s or something. It's like a TV sitcom that's filmed on a stage, and it starts off with something bad happens there. Obviously, it's a horror movie. Something bad happens and it starts with that, and they keep coming back to it, and it is, and that is one of you're going, okay, you finish watching the film and like, what was the point of that?
Yeah. That's
what were they trying to say with that? I mean, everything that happens in it is intriguing. Everything that happens in it is engaging. But you're like, how did that link with the big story? And then we find out about this thing that happens later on in the main story about the ranch, and this is something that might be dangerous on the ranch. So I thought it was. I think there were some really, really great shots in this film. There was one particular shot where I don't even know how I can describe it, but. Okay, Shaun, you've seen the film, so I'll say it's the bit where after they have the show where they have the horse in a box and everybody is waiting to see what happens. There's a scene after that. It's mostly red. And that scene is haunting. It's actually like a bit, oh my God, is that what's going on here? Is that what this film's about? Oh.
Yes.
And
which is in some strange way, I believe that in some strange way is related to the TV show. I don't know why. I just there
is definitely a link.
There's a connection there, but I can't work out
there's a connection there, but it's not. it's like, what was going on here? And I think the film doesn't really show itself as a horror movie, although there's one particular shot where somehow a whole house gets bathed in blood. And that shot is almost kind of like, like a Dario Argento type thing, where you look at it and you go, this is a very blatant, we're making a horror film here. but apart from that, a lot of the film I don't think is that much of a horror.
I don't think it's that much of a horror. It is. I mean, there's some bits in it which I don't know are red herrings. I mean, shall I just mention Shoe? But anyway,
it's
Shoe, yeah. So it's like, it's like Wow. Wow. That's bizarre. Anyway, yeah. So
Okay, so that's a 10 minutes, Shaun. So
right, okay. That went quick.
it does.
Yeah.
So now but we've tried our very best not to spoil it. This is a kind of film where, as you can imagine, we could go on and we could probably do like a 4-hour discussion about
definitely
how about this, how about that, how about that. But we're trying to tell you about it in 10 minutes. But the main thing is, would we recommend that you go watch it so that you can get involved in your own 4-hour discussion of us, exactly what this film's all about. Yeah. How many stars would you give it, Shaun?
Okay. It was really intriguing, and there was a lot to think about, and there was a lot in there, but it didn't really grab me. So I don't think I can stretch to a 4. I think it was okay, and it was interesting, and there were bits in it that I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think for me it's a 3. There wasn't enough of a wow factor. Some parts did seem to drag out a little bit. There was a few moments where it was like so for me it's a 3-star. And for me it's a 3-star. By the way, there is a bit of a tenuous link with the character in the background.
Michael. Yes.
Yeah, you probably know the film and the actor, but do you?
I actually forgot about doing the.
That's okay. It's not a problem.
I forgot about that.
I thought on this one because.
Okay. All right. Oh, we'll do that afterwards. Let me give my.
Okay. Sure.
Let me give my rating. So with me, I think that this was, because I expected us to disagree on this film. I really did expect us to disagree on this film, and so there's been more agreement than I thought. And I thought about it and everything, and I agree with you that the characters are almost a little bit distant. I mean, Daniel Kaluuya in this film. Like the first scene almost the first scene he shows up, the bit where they're on the Hollywood set with the horse and everything, his character was just kind of like, why are you like that? That's just annoying. It's like, oh, you might be introverted or anything like that, but it's just annoying right now. It's really getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
And so you had that. I mean, Keke Palmer, her character is a bit more engaging, I think. But yes. I know what you mean. There's a bit of distance. There's a bit of distance where I don't particularly think you end up caring that much for the characters.
That's it. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, you're not really bothered. Oh well, if something happens, then you're not like, oh no.
Yeah,
one way or the other.
You don't really end up caring for the characters. You're like, okay, get out of the way. I just need to figure out what's going on. Get out of the way so I can figure out what's happening in this film.
No emotional investment.
I don't think you get that emotionally invested in the characters. I've got to be honest with you. So, but in the end, I think it just about slips into a 4 for me. It just about slips into a 4. I mean, although I agree with you, and I think we've had the same battle. I think we've had the same battle as to it, but I've just about slipped into a 4. But it's an only just thing. It's an only just thing. So that is it for that. So all in all, 3.5 stars for Nope. But the main thing is go watch it yourself and get involved in your own 4-hour conversation as to what this film actually is. What is this film? What does it mean? What the heck is going on? Right, and now